Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So on my blog, I share how I made my fortune in real estate, starting at 19 years old. Bought my first property at 19. By the time I was 28, I was a millionaire. I did it one deal at a time, and that's what I do. I share on my blog, and we talk about that sort of thing. I have a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a #1 seller on Amazon and Kindle in real estate category, and today we're going to talk about whatever Chris wants to talk about, or whatever you guys want to talk about. Let's see. And let's see, who do we got here so far? Okay. And you guys can call in, by the way. Anything you want to talk about, it doesn't matter. We can talk about anything. Great. Couple things. Well, here. We'll get started here in 1 second. All right. So hope everybody's doing well today. Chris has been busy. He's got a fixer-upper he's working on. He's working on a flip. I've got multiple properties I'm working on too right now, just getting them in shape to sell. I've been actually met a cabinet maker today. I was a cabinet maker for 10 years. And so it's funny when I get somebody that's in a business I used to run, similar. Hey, Alex, glad you're here. Delta, glad you're here. It's just kind of cool just to get it. I'm so glad I'm done with cabinets, by the way. I mean, I breathed sawdust for over 9 years. It was, and I made money, and it led me to my first deal, right? Led me to my very first real estate deal. So,
do you miss woodworking at all, just even as a hobby?
Not really. You know what? I did so much of it. I mean, I really, I was a good cabinet maker.
Yeah.
And people are impressed today when I'll go in and I'll see a couple people scratching their head. And I say, hey, what are you doing? And I go in, and a lot of people are uncomfortable cutting like holes in countertops for sinks.
Right.
And I got complete confidence in my numbers. I've done it for so long. So,
sure.
It's like, oh, here's the center, here's a hole, here, flip it over. And I'm like dropping it through the top. And they're like, oh, how can you do that so fast?
Right.
But I have confidence in my numbers. I know what I'm it's just measurements. It's just math. I say that all the time. People talk about real estate. It's just math. It's very simple. It's really great. Numbers are a good thing. You can find the center of things. You can cut things exactly. Things fit exactly. I own a machine shop too. Talk about numbers. That's the that's where you've got some real tight tolerances.
Yeah.
So, but hey, anybody want to talk about anything? You just go ahead. We're scratching our heads. I said, well, we can go look at a Bigger Pockets video, or we can I talked for a long time earlier today about the economy. Is it going to, do you think it's going to be better or worse depending on who gets elected? I think everybody knows how I feel, but it just is what it is. It's interesting. I got people running for office in my city, and I've actually received a couple letters. Some of them see me on the news because I'll talk about things that I think are good or bad, in the news, the local news, and because I own real estate in the area, they know, well, this guy owns a substantial amount of property in this particular area, so they look for feedback and different things and thoughts. But so one of those, oh yeah, that's a good one, thank you. So if you just got here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'm showing off my new quick button for like and subscribe, which those of you that are been following me can remind me to hit the subscribe button like Trent just did.
There you go.
That would be great, because I oftentimes forget. Like I say, I'm not a great YouTuber, but I am a good real estate investor. I'm happy to share what I do know.
Hey, you're good. You're quick study though.
Yeah, slowly, but geez, it's weird. Like left is right. Like I'm looking at Chris right now, right?
Are you?
Right? Yeah, I'm looking at Chris. Yeah. And it's first time. Normally, I'm looking the other way, and I'm looking at Chris because that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Hey, Rish, glad you're here.
Something, Tom, I've been thinking about a little bit lately. I'm getting into. So I got this flip that I'm doing, and this one's with a partner, a buddy. It's going to be fun. I really think it's going to be fun.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
we're gonna make some money and do some projects together. But then I'm about to acquire another property. Actually 2 more properties. One's a vacant lot, and the other one is I'll talk more about that one later. However, my question is, as you get into flipping, right, and more, I guess I would say into holding, okay, if you choose to hold on to a property, what is your advice as far as trying to keep those finances straight? Because as I'm starting to kind of realize, like, oh, I might have a property here, over here, and a property over there, and a property over here, and like my bank account's going to get all messed up of things coming in, going out, and setting up electricity bills in different places. And how do you keep that straight?
I have a bookkeeper.
Oh, okay. I was going to expect like a really just amazing.
Yes, I have this amazing categorizing. Yeah, no, I used to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I do. No matter how disorganized you are, just keep everything in one spot. Your desk, it doesn't matter if it's a mess. If you know all the bills are on top of that desk, believe me, because I used to do all my own bookkeeping. I used to know how to do Quicken and QuickBooks and all that stuff. I used to do my own taxes, and I'm not good at it. I mean, I'm not. It's a discipline. It's something I hate to do. I hate to do it. I have a daughter that's an accountant, and I mean, she's just recently. Doesn't look at my books, but the main thing is every bill. Put it in a box or a drawer. Just know that all the bills are here. Yep. But really, you got to be more organized when you get older. And I mean, the more stuff you got, and you've already quadrupled. So Chris just took the mentorship, right? And he's quadrupled his portfolio, right? You have 4 times as much property as you had.
Well, it's not all settled yet, but
you're in escrow.
Yeah, we're in escrow. So
yeah. The main thing is you don't want to, you got to hold on to everything. But it catches up with you. Believe me, I can't believe I pay $500,000 nearly in a year now in property taxes.
Right. I have heard some people, what they'll do is, you work with one bank maybe, and all your finances are in that one bank. But what they'll do is they'll allow you to set up all these different accounts, and you can name those accounts, per property if you want to.
The less, the better.
Yeah.
I can tell you, people want to get one credit card per partnership. That would, for me, I'd have to have like 16, 17 credit cards. I don't like it. I use one credit card. I mean, one American Express, one Visa, one Home Depot account, one Lowe's account.
Right.
My guys know what happens is everything they buy, they code to the address. As long as we see the address, I know which one of my 17 entities owns that property. So we always tell everybody, just bill the address. We'll get the bill. We'll know whether it goes to, somebody that is managing one of my properties. I know an outside company or which outside company is managing, or whether it's one of my inside management people. I've got a couple of those. Right. These are your properties. These are your properties. So
a bunch of those. So you said, because you've talked about this before, but I think this is really important for people to hear. You own multiple properties, but a lot of those properties are in different LLCs.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
your finances are still in one place.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. What I'm saying is, here's how my stuff works. Just say I have 5, okay? I have more than that, but let's just say I have 5. So I have, A, B, C, D, and E, okay? Limited partnerships. Each one maybe owns, I don't know, on a low, $500,000, on a high, $7 million in real estate, okay? Now, all of them, they're independent of each other. They have all the rights of a person. They're a separate entity. They own those things. I control them, but they own them.
Right.
And you get more into it later. But the bottom line is, I'm not going to get into all the reasons for why you hold it, but one of the reasons is your kids can own partners. They can be your partners. Kids can't own real estate till they're 18, but they can own a percentage of a partnership that owns real estate. So that's kind of the key there. So that's why I do that. And if I kick the bucket, then, everything stays the same, but, it just, they worry about how to give out my shares,
right?
Which I take care of that with a will. But the main thing is so if in a given day, somebody has an AC broken here, somebody has whatever, or my crew has to go here and they got stuff from Home Depot to fix this. And so, they log their time with the address of where they worked. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, they go, okay, we worked here this many hours. And then they can figure out how many billable hours go to each of those entities. And then those come in, and then we make invoices from those different In other words, they give me an invoice that says, here, we're
Right.
at these different places. And then we assign it, and then each of those entities writes a check for their share. And that same with the credit card. We get the credit card, we see doors that are purchased, drywall that's purchased, different things that are purchased, and we know where the job went. We can see where that material is delivered, and then, again, a check comes out of each of these entities, or I have one entity pay for everything, and then the other ones write checks back to that entity to
Right.
compensate.
So I can imagine if you only have one entity, things are going to be pretty simple.
Yeah, with one entity, it's simple. But you still have to separate it. It's not really, because even with one entity, you want to separate. You need to know what your capital contribution is, the money that you put into each of those entities. You need to separate that out. So you got to know what your basis is. It just gets more complicated. But but that's what I do.
At what point would you say it would be a good reason to create another LLC? Or
the more money you have, the more you worry about it. Because that's what can happen if these are 5 properties inside of one entity, and something terrible happens and you're liable, or something bad.
Yeah.
All of them are up for grabs.
Yeah.
Okay. Where if something bad happened, like say a friend of mine had a kid drown in his pool. It was parents' fault. Parents didn't watch their kid. Parents didn't take care of the kid. Was seen riding his bicycle. Little kid riding his bicycle 10 o'clock at night around the grounds. Well, he ends up in the pool, and he didn't drown. He went to the point of being brain dead, to be quite honest. And so he's going to need care for the rest of his life. Well, parents didn't have any money. Well, my friend had $3 million worth of insurance. Well, he's getting sued for like $7 million. Okay, so he had $3 million insurance, but he had a $2 million umbrella. So he was scared to death that he was going to be liable for this extra $2 million over and above the $5 million in coverage. And fortunately, the insurance company said, "Hey, look, we're going to indemnify you against all of it because we're going to fight this thing. This is not right." And so when they indemnified him, then he had no worries now. Because what they don't want you to do, sometimes they'll indemnify you because what they don't want you to do is say, "Hey, I agree, I'm wrong, pay the kid $5 million. They want to fight. They don't want that. So they want you to just keep your mouth shut and fight and let them do everything. So they kind of buy you out of it by saying, "Hey, you don't have anything to worry about." And you're like, "Okay, great. As long as I have anything to worry about, that's fine." And so that was his case. And they went and they actually got a few $1 million over and above his coverage. And so it saved his ass, millions.
Yeah. And kind of on that note, it reminded me, I was listening to a podcast earlier this week, and for those of you that are in the short-term rental game, or maybe even long-term rental game, I don't know if this makes a difference, but you should look into this. People set up 2 LLCs. One is in the name of the home, or it's in your name even, personal name. Okay, so you own the home outright, or it's an LLC.
You can transfer, you can just move it over because it's passive. It's the same.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you actually operate the short-term rental under a different LLC, and that LLC leases the property from the other LLC. And so now if anything happens, the operating costs, that's all that's there. And that's the only thing that they can go after. They can't actually go after the singular property.
No, if they get hurt in the property, they're going after the property owner. It doesn't matter what those agreements are.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It won't protect you. It'll be a second lawsuit you'll have to defend, probably. Okay. To be honest, that's what I think.
Yeah.
So that doesn't sound right to me. Okay. No, if they get hurt on your property, whoever owns the property is liable. You're going to be, you're in the hot suit.
Yeah.
Hot seat. But so how about anybody else? Rish, what do you got going? You guys working on something? Franco. Jose Ramirez was in here talking about he took $12,000 and plowed it into a deal, and he got a place for, I don't know, 30 or 40,000 that's worth, 70, 80,000. So he's figured he's making $40,000. Right. And he was trying to decide, should I hold it? I'm making 45% on his cash for cash, meaning his 12 grand. And anyways, and like I said, look, I'd sell it. Just get rid of it because that's going broke slowly, to be quite honest. Even though you made your 40 grand in equity, well, turn it into cash because that's the real money, is making the cash. Because, you can afford to do that kind of investing after you're established, after you've already got hundreds of thousands at least, because if you do it too early, it's just not going to, it's just, if you can turn 12,000 into 40, doesn't it make sense rather than collect $450 a month? Doesn't it make more sense to take that 40 and try to triple it like you did with the 12, turn it into 120? It's, it just makes sense to me. Hey, Rui, glad you're here. But anyways, so, like I say, right now I'm kind of in retirement mode. I really am more inclined to retire right now. I'm getting a little bit nervous, to be quite honest. I have plenty of money right now, and I have plenty of cash right now. So I'm kind of like, maybe I just want to sit on this cash, and I don't really care if things go really high up. I mean, if things go really, really great, it doesn't matter. I own a bunch of property. That'll go up.
Just have a couple pina coladas and let the storm pass.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But exactly. Or do I just go buy up a bunch of, because I've been looking at tons of property. I'm excited about buying some, but I started thinking, some doubt comes in like, oh man, because I'm getting older. So I have to weigh out a little bit my age. Like, do I really want to deal with a 10-year downturn? Because I've done it before.
Yeah.
And, where if I just sit on cash, I mean, it's like no big deal. I've got less debt because I haven't bought and leveraged into anything else. And so anyways, but when you're young, you can do it. The younger you are, the more risk I say risk.
Yeah.
The more
aggressive.
A little bit of risk. I'm not going to say there's no risk, but the property values go down. I've only lost money on one piece of property in my life, and it was a large piece of acreage I bought for $320,000. Me and a buddy bought it, kind of like you and your buddy.
Yeah.
And and we lost $75,000 each on it in the end. And that's because I wanted to walk away. I just didn't want to keep it. Okay, so Franco wrote something here. He said, I'm thinking about buying townhouses. With what?
With no HOA.
Oh, you got your...
and renting them. What do you think?
Oh, with no HOA? No, I mean, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Hey, Cyrus. Look, an HOA is great if it operates. I mean, HOA, if they keeping the grounds clean. I mean, listen, I belong to one HOA, and that's the one that got me into a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Don't ever sit on the board. Don't be the president. I made that mistake. I was the president of an HOA, and I got sued for millions of dollars.
Oh my gosh!
And
I got to hear that story.
Yeah, you've already heard part of it already, but yeah, it sucks. Because then all of a sudden, there's so many lawyers involved because you got to have a personal lawyer, you got to have a lawyer for the association. Then when you bankrupt your opposition, which is what we did, then then that's a different court. Okay, that's not state court anymore. That's federal court because it's bankruptcy court. It's different. Oh, okay. So state bar people aren't necessarily federal bar people. So then you're hiring a new set of lawyers for the federal court.
I hope I never have to go through any of that. That just sounds
It
awful.
was horrible. I mean,
awful.
look, I mean, I was the main target, and I had my kids sitting on my lap, and it's like, it was a pain. It was just a pain. It was a really huge nuisance that you can't just get rid of. You know what I mean? I mean, I knew I was going to survive it no matter what. I was going to survive it, but it's just sucks.
Eats away at you.
Yeah, and just the anger. When you want to kill somebody, and you know exactly who it is. So they're fantasizing about killing the guys that are in the courtroom with me, and but anyways, but it's over.
Hey,
it's over. And I won. I prevailed, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, Franco, cool thing about townhomes with no HOA, because HOA usually prevents you from doing short-term rentals. And I talk a lot about short-term rentals because that's where my money's at. That's something to consider. I don't know where you're located. You don't need to tell me, but if you think it's a place people want to visit or do short-term stays, you could look into that.
Yeah, you know what? It's all math, right? Franco just add it up. If you don't have any HOA fees, that's good. I mean, it might be good too. I mean, if you're going to do short term, if you're going to do the Airbnb stuff, there's nobody to complain to, right? Except the next door neighbor, because there ain't going to be an HOA to report you to.
That's right.
Myrtle Beach, well, that sounds interesting.
Hey. And again, I've told my parents, told my friends. Everybody's scared of trying the short-term rental thing because they don't know it.
That's what everybody's scared of real estate for the same reason.
And it's like, just try it. Because here's the deal: you buy it. Worst case scenario, if the numbers work for a long-term rental, then stop doing short-term and do the long-term.
Yeah,
it's that easy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's another job. You're creating a job, another job, but it's not a hard job.
No.
It's like a management. Listen, I have a lot of rentals. That's a job. I mean, I manage my property. You guys see it, my landlord stuff. It's a job, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah, and what's fun about short-term rental, and again, this is, I would say it's not playing the conservative game so much in the sense that with long-term rentals, you're getting the same amount every month from your tenants. You know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. And Tom, I love when you say, when you work the 8 to 5 job, you start adding up those numbers. And you're like, how boring would that be? I know exactly to the dollar what I'm going to make whenever I turn 65 or whatever it is. Well, that's what I love about short-term rentals, because next month, I don't know what I'm going to make.
Right.
But the past couple months have been on fire. It's been amazing, and so I'm excited to see what happens next month, So as long as you're not, you want to have some money in the bank for a rainy day if you have to pay the mortgage, but short-term rentals, if you're in the right place, if you got something that people want.
Yeah. No, it's a niche. And like I say, if you can make the numbers work on a long-term basis with whatever you're buying, then it's a no-brainer. You're going to make more money with short-term rentals. You're creating a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Right. But you're going to make more for the trouble. And Chris, I like what Chris does. Chris, he's really into customer service, and I am too. I take care of my tenants. I'm very responsive. I mean, they have a problem, we go. And a lot of times I go, and I have people that do most of the work for me most of the time, but if it's a Saturday and I got tools in my car, I mean, I go over and I get dirty, I get nasty. I've been in floods, and I've got videos of it. And, that's what you do. You take care of the people. That's your income. That's your business.
And for me, it's harder to do that because I'm an hour and a half away from my short-term rental. I do have some people in town that can help me at a moment's notice, but if they're not available, or it's something that, like, if somebody's staying in the property for 2 nights and they're like, the coffee maker doesn't work, I'm like, oh crap, like that sucks. You don't want to wake up in the morning and not have a cup of coffee. Yeah. So what do? I Venmo them money to the local coffee shop and say, hey, drinks on me. Or, one night these girls are trying to get ready to go to dinner somewhere, and it was kind of comical. It wasn't. It was awful, but the shower head wasn't working. They said, hey, your shower head doesn't work. And I was like, oh no, you're kidding me, And they just been outside playing and all that kind of stuff. And they wanted to get freshened up for dinner. I was like, well, if you're up for just using the bathtub, right? I mean, I'll get it fixed. However, here's the deal. I'm buying all of you guys dinner tonight. There's a really nice restaurant in town. I don't want you guys to have to worry about buying dinner. And, as far as that group of people went, I wouldn't say I lost money, but I kind of more or less broke even. I didn't make money, but that's how you got to keep people happy.
No, but you need to get rapport with a plumber.
Right.
There in town. Right. Or I know you got a gal that does maid service. Listen, a shower head, most shower heads you can unscrew them with your hand. That's just how they are. They're not high pressure. They're not under pressure all the time. But really you learn from that. You might as well keep a spare shower head. Right. In a drawer. Say, there's a shower head right there and a wrench. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because people can do it. Well, some people can't hang a picture, but some people can.
Right.
And have that. And maybe, I've had a coffee machine fail on me at home. And I thought, what a pain in the butt. I had to look up how to fix it. Right. And I'd never even thought it could happen, to be quite honest.
I've got a backup coffee maker out there.
That's what I was going to suggest, yeah. So that's a good idea. No, having a spare is really important. And, I went fishing the other day and, a couple weeks ago, and we were on a float trip, fly fishing. And I was really impressed with our guide. He pulls out of there, and there was a guy talking about, he lost his wheel bearing cap. And he goes, here. And he pulls out, he's got a spare. And it's like a universal thing for the trailers. And then he goes, but I don't have this. And he goes, well, here. He had everything. He had spares for everything. Yeah. He was ready for every
You got to be prepared.
He was old. He'd been through it. He'd done it. And that's the advantage of listening to older folks that have been there and done that. You can learn a lot from them.
Man, I'm telling you, like, even in my other job, I think it's worth its weight in gold for some of us younger folk. Like, you need to surround yourself with older people.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's true.
Like, I mean, here we are. We're sitting right here.
Well, and I've done the same thing, though. Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, I'm sharing with you all my experiences and stuff, but I can tell you, you guys hear me quote all my guys, Hank Booker, he's the one who said, you never get hurt taking a profit. How many times you heard me say that, and other people that whatever. You respect them because you can realize, oh, wow, they got it together. How they do, you know. But
all right, so we want to watch a video, or you guys want to ask some questions? Anybody want to call in?
Yeah, it sounds like you're, you know, I don't know. Just it feels boring tonight a little bit.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Got your
Oh, here we go. Jose, question. Low rates equals more buyers, multiple offers, higher prices. So you're still paying the same price.
Oh, we got somebody who wants to call in, too. I'll put the number up here. You can call this number right there. And who's calling? Let's see.
Juxin.
Yep, just call, man. We're here. Should work.
Hey, Keith, what's up, man?
Keith's here. Cool.
All right, numbers up on the screen. Cyrus trying to find some estate sales. I love it, man. Hey, you keep going to him, Cyrus. You're gonna.
Oh yeah, well this is the first time because that stuff's on the weekends. Kind of weird that. Well, I mean, generally all of them are on a weekend, but yeah, it'll be funny if you don't find some of those same garage sale ladies, you know, using the estate sale to change it up, which would make sense to me.
You know, they used to do something. This is a good tip for people. This is a freebie for you. If you can figure out a different way to do it, because I tried it the other night, it didn't work for me. So I'd be interested if anybody knows anything about this. But there's an app out there called If This Then That. Super cool app, and it's a recipe maker for any of your apps to kind of talk to each other. So, for example, if it's going to rain tomorrow, then send me a text to remind me at 7 a.m. to put my umbrella in the car. You know, you can do 100 different things. So how does this work with real estate? Well, I tried it the other day. I said, okay, if an estate sale pops up on Craigslist, then send me a text message. Right. So that I can know immediately when something new comes up instead of going and searching for stuff. Well, they said that something about the Craigslist, algorithms weren't updating.
That's a disaster, I'm sure. It's so big. It's so wide.
But if you can find little tricks like that to basically be the first in line at something, that's where you can
getting there first is always a big part of it. So, yeah, let's see here. Cyrus, side hustle, flip washer and dryers. You know what? Maybe. They're kind of heavy.
They're really heavy.
And they're not something you can pick up by yourself, so I don't know.
So I did hear, though, in all honesty, I heard flipping couches is where it's at. You can make a lot of money flipping couches.
Yeah, Cyrus, let me tell you, one time I had 4 pair of washer dryers in a garage. And I just started giving them. I mean, I was just trying to find somebody that wanted them. But yeah, people leave those things behind because just almost always there's you can sell. Somebody has something for sale for $100. Washer for sale, $100. Dryer for sale, $100. And then the only big distinguishing factor between them is whether it's gas or 220.
Jose is saying, he said it twice now, but basically, you know, you're saving on your interest rates, but you're paying in higher home prices because there's so much competition. But that's where I said, Jose, get Tom's book if you don't have it already. And
what you're saying, I didn't understand what you were putting there when you said that.
Because you don't want to pay full market value and or getting a duking it out with somebody else that wants the house. You want to buy it under market value.
No, I think I know what you're talking about. I think Jose, I think what he's referring to is lower interest leads to higher property. Because people, I think what you're talking about, Jose, I say it all the time, lower the interest, the higher the values go up. It's just how it is because people don't buy necessarily. They don't say how much. Like if you're smart, it's how much. How much am I paying for it? I want to know how much. But for some people, it's like, well, how much a month? You know, they don't even care. If I say it's $300,000 or I say it's $400,000, that doesn't faze them. They just go, well, how much a month would that be? It's like they're buying based on how much they can afford to pay each month, which is the worst way to decide whether you're going to buy something. Might be okay to rent, but it's otherwise. But so Jose, that's what you're talking about. I figured so. Yeah, that's exactly right. So let's see, what's something super interesting we can talk about right now? I don't know. I was looking at this bigger pockets thing. Let's move you guys over.
Would you buy a flooded, damaged property?
Sure, I have. I mean, listen, that goes back to the fixer-upper stuff, right? I don't particularly love fixer-uppers, and I know a lot of people always imagine, oh yeah, I'm getting this great deal. It's worth $100, and I'm getting it for $60, and it needs $30,000 worth of work. Well, that's a no-brainer. You shouldn't buy it, okay? Or you should flip it for $60, just as is for $70, and make your $10,000, and let somebody else imagine fixing it up for, quickly and for less, because the bottom line, the fixer-uppers always lead to more work than you usually expect. I mean, that's my experience, and I've been doing it a long time, and I'm a builder. I mean, I know what I'm looking at, and I know what things cost. But nevertheless, sometimes you just, and I'll give you an example. Today, I went in a place I re-drywalled, and I didn't pick up the camera. Anyways, can't always do that. But I got cabinets, met the cabinet maker there. We got everything laid out. I'm buying dishwashers and washer dryers, and because I'm staging the place, but I just buy them. I buy them brand new, and I just let them. If we come to a decent agreement, they can have it. I don't care. But the washer and dryer in this case are kind of hiding, kind of a weird, ugly design within the house. In fact, these things actually slide back into a wall where the washer and dryer are flush. It was just a weird screw up when they built this place, and they have a 2-story, and it affected the stairs. Actually affected the washing room. So now these things slip in. Well, now you can have a front load washer, right? A door on a front load washer. I said, okay, perfect. I'll buy that. I'll slip these in. They'll look custom. But really they're weird. They're kind of weird in the backside. And then in the kitchens, refrigerators are way deep. They're like 30 inches deep. Mm-hmm. That's the average depth. And you get in a small kitchen, it looks horrible when you got a big old fridge and it's taken half the kitchen, or it feels like it's taken half the kitchen. So what I do is I buy a counter depth, and you can go to these Sears outlet stores and look for the counter depth ones. They don't hold as much, but the counter depth fridge is only 25 inches deep. So when you get it in, it's nice and wide, but it's flush with the face of the cabinets.
Yeah.
So it looks great, but when you open it,
you're like,
barely stick a gallon of milk in it.
Where do I put everything?
Exactly. But they look great. Yeah. You see, you got one, Kevin. What's funny too is if you go over to Europe or Brazil, their refrigerators are like what we have. At a snack bar,
Well, it's because they go to the supermarket.
They go to the market and they buy fresh food
every day.
And they eat better. Yeah,
they do.
France, same way.
Oh
France, same way. And so where we, it's like, I can't put a pizza in here, a frozen pizza. Yeah, and anyways,
it is funny. There's a lot of places in the world that eat just really good stuff.
Yeah. No, Cyrus is believe me. Yeah, I know. But my boys, man, I have to make them go to the grocery store because I make them. I say, well, we're gonna cook, and make them go to the grocery store. And but they, you cannot believe how many Hot Pockets I have in my fridge. It's ridiculous. And they actually love making just turkey sandwiches and stuff. But anyways, so Jose, I just wanted to let you guys know I went to my first garage sale. Wow, the guy sells refrigerators. The house isn't for sale though. Yeah. Well, that's going to happen. Oh, he's a professional refrigerator salesman. He just does it through garage sales. That's interesting. Hey, you know what? People do what they got to do to make money. I'm impressed with the fact that people are creative that way.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, Tom, what do you think? Buy a rental out of state? Man, I don't like it. Look, Chris is the logistics. He's got an hour and a half drive. You're totally dependent on somebody else out of state. Unless you just got a right-hand man out of state, then maybe it's grace. At gas stations, you know what? You'd be surprised how little money there are. I've looked at buying gas stations, and here's the problems with gas stations. You don't make hardly anything on the gas. The gas is peanuts. There isn't a lot of margin on the gas. And then if you have the convenience store with it, I had one I was looking at, and this poor guy, his wife had left and went back to Iran, and he was sick. He just wanted to go back and catch up with her and the kids. But the bottom line is, he told me, I go, well, what do you make on a gallon of milk? He told me 10 cents. 10 cents on a gallon of milk. I go, why do you even sell it? He goes, I have to. He goes, if you don't have the milk, they won't come in and buy the cigarettes, and we make money on the cigarettes. And I go, and the gas, and I mean, this is a gas station that makes $800 a month on gas. Can you imagine? 4 pumps and people coming in and out, and you make $800 a month. That's ridiculous. $50 a pump per week.
I almost, again, me and a family friend, we almost bought a gas station a couple months ago. But one thing to look at if you're looking to buy a gas station, especially if it's been out of business for a while, those tanks need to get inspected, and that can get really pricey if they need to be replaced or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, everybody. Yeah. Listen, I own a restaurant too, and if you love it, if you're passionate about running a restaurant, you like people talking to you, and you want to shake everybody's hand and say, "Hey, how you doing? How was the food? Fantastic." I never want to be that guy. That is just not me at all, Right. In fact, when I owned a bar and restaurant, I'd tell everybody, hey, don't tell anybody I own this place. I'm just coming in for a drink. And I was coming in to watch things, of course, here and there. But again, you'll just become a slave to it. And if you got a family and things get tough, then your kids, everybody's a slave to the business. It's terrible what I've seen of it. But
restaurant business.
But I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I don't know what I'm doing. So let's see. Jose, I'm in California. I feel like Cali is overpriced. I know. I mean, look, I love California. I love the weather. I love the terrain. I love all the places that I go there. And, what I don't love is I don't love the city councils in L.A. I don't love the politics there. With Cyrus, back in the day, gas companies would give huge rebates to high volume sellers. That's why you would take small margins. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. But I don't even want to know the business. But yeah, I've owned laundromats, Carlos. I can tell you right now, I like laundry business. I do like. Do you? Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, so quarters are $22.50 per pound. Because you get so many quarters, you get thousands and thousands of quarters. You don't want to count them.
No.
And even the bank doesn't want to throw them in a coin counter.
So you weigh them.
You weigh them, and you got $22.50 per pound.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
What are the pros and cons? If somebody wants to get a laundromat, what should they look out for as far as like avoiding a bad deal?
Bad neighborhood, because they'll beat the shit out of your machines and they'll try to break into them, and even if they don't get into them, they just beat the hell out of them. I had a deal. I had an apartment building. I was 34 unit, and I had a 24 and a 13. It was like 58 units total, I think. And these kids had come in, and one particular kid, we didn't know it was kids first, but there was like weird gang writing. And, everybody was freaked out. Oh, there's gangs. I jumped in the dumpster and dug through the dumpster one day because I think it was because I thought somebody had dumped their trash from another residence, and I was going to find it and throw it back in their yard. Well, what I did is I found the kid's homework. I found this kid's homework, and he had this same stupid gang, whatever, logo all over his homework. And I go, oh, got you little bastard, And I went straight to the family, and I said, hey, you guys have 30 days to move. And then the mother goes, oh, she was upset, crying. She goes, his father beats him, and he just still won't learn. I said, well, beat him more. I don't know. I didn't like it, Yeah. But the kid was trouble. And maybe the parents were too. I don't know. But I just wanted him off my property.
So you buy, those are commercial machines. You just buy those in bulk, or I guess people sell the laundromat. You're buying the laundromat and all the machines as well.
Yeah. Is
a lot of maintenance?
No. It's not bad at all. The things are they're like bulletproof. You got to buy a good machine. I think Maytag was the main ones that I bought.
Sure.
Well, there's another name of another one that's
Kenmore.
No, it's really commercial. It's
Maytag, yes. That's good.
I want to say Maytag, but it's probably a step up from that. But even the place that I bought them from, the other thing I really liked is they had this. They made them themselves because not only did they sell washing machines, commercial washing machines, but they also had washaterias or laundromats, they call them, but they had created their own steel shroud that goes over the money part.
Yeah.
To protect it.
Sure.
And so I bought my machines with this, basically like a tank around them. They just were so enshrouded with 1/4-inch steel. Nobody ever got into them. And I've seen them. They flipped mine upside down and tried to shake the quarters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's you just can't believe the people will do thousands of dollars of damage to steal $20. It's crazy. But
so on that though, this is important because this is a different kind of real estate. It's commercial, but you're adding up. You're kind of doing the math in your head as far as, all right, how much money is this bringing in a month? And then how much does this thing, how much does somebody want to sell this for? Because you're buying real estate, but you're also buying a business, more or less.
Right. Well, see, my laundromats just, okay, I wasn't clear. My laundromats were laundromats within an apartment buildings. So I already had it. It's an amenity I had to have available for my tenants anyway. But I was making $25 a month per unit. So 10 units, I'd make another $250 a month, in quarters.
Gotcha.
Hey, Daryl. California to Rusty Shack. Yeah, I mean, anyways, yeah, I mean, side hustles, whatever you do to make money on the side, I think is great.
Craigslist, man. Find your niche on
Flip
Craigslist.
Anything, right?
I mean,
you can buy anything.
I bought. Let's see. I looked for tools. This was 2 years ago. I was looking for a tool. I'm sorry. I was looking for a new circular saw, and I came across just a lot, like literally a lot of tools with a circular saw in it. And I drive out to the guy's house. His garage is full of tools. And I look at the circular saw, and then I start looking around. I said, "You're selling all this too?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm selling all of it. I'm getting divorced. I got to sell it all." I said, "Oh, okay." And I kind of started adding up in my head. I'm like, okay, well, I could probably sell it for that. I could probably sell that for that and that for that. Just kind of starting to do the math in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe there's some money to be made here. And so I just gave him a ballpark. I said, "I'll give you $800 for everything."
Wow.
And he goes, "All right, I'll take it." And
Yeah.
so I literally, I loaded my truck full of all those tools. I picked and I chose all the tools that I wanted, and then I sold everything. And not only did I sell it all for $800, I made another $800.
Yeah.
So I got to keep tools. I got to make $800, and then I sold what I didn't want. So, so yeah, you gotta, but it comes back to knowing value, like you say, just with homes.
Right. Yeah, and there's, like I say, you can make a lot of money a lot of different ways, and certainly things are part of it. And in fact, you'll probably make more dollar per dollar on things under, $10 grand than you will on anything else. You can buy stuff for $500. It's worth $2,000-3,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's see. What do you say we take a look at a video, I guess? Yeah, actually, Keith, I'll tell you something. A friend of mine is in Houston, and he had a daughter for a while she was going to college. She would just go to the garage sales in the rich neighborhoods, and she would get purses that were very, very valuable. I had no idea how expensive purses were. And I met a gal in Starbucks, and I said, "Man, that's a cool purse." I said, "What's something like that worth?" She said, "Oh, well, this one's a cheap one compared to my friends because this one's $5,000. I go, $5,000? Are you kidding me? She goes, "Oh, that's nothing." She goes, "I have friends that have $20,000 purses." Yeah. I go, what for? She goes, "I know." She goes, "But I draw the line. When I can buy a car, forget it. I'm not going to spend." I mean, she drew the line there. She's actually a really great-looking woman in her 50s, but you could tell she had some money.
Well, and with that, like even on Craigslist, like I have a few brands that I even shop or offer up. Like I like Filson. If you guys are familiar with Filson, it's like outdoor wear. I like hunting and fishing and
like
whatnot.
Orvis.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But I would shop Filson all the time on Craigslist, and I found a Filson watch a guy was selling, and he wanted, I don't know, I think he wanted $100 for it. I said, "Well, I'll give you $70. I'll meet you tonight." And he goes, "Okay." Well, the watch was brand new, worth $500.
Wow.
So I got it for $70.
Yeah.
Well, I wore it for a year, and I'm not really I'm not really a watch guy. I don't,
Right.
whatever. But I wore it for a year. And then I wanted to build a coffee table out of a really nice slab of wood.
Yep.
And if you get a really nice slab of wood, that gets pricey.
Sure.
So I shop around on Craigslist again. I find a slab of wood that I really liked that was worth every bit of $500.
Sure.
And I just asked him, I said, hey, you want to fill some watch? I'll trade you, and we just did a straight up trade. It's kind of like I got this $500 slab of wood for $70. You can look at it that way too. You just trade things.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. You can definitely make money a lot of different ways. And, we're talking about, what was the main gist that you changed the subject so much? I forgot what we were talking about. Garage sales, purses.
Side hustles, looking for stuff to sell. I think that's what we were talking about. If it's tools, if it's purses, if it's, finding your niche of knowing the value of stuff.
Yeah.
You were saying that you can flip stuff easier. You can make more money, stuff under that $1,000, $10,000 mark.
Yeah, that was
Double
further
your
back.
No.
Anyways, the book is 157 pages, TL. But yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the most profitable things that I bought a fire truck online. I bought it for $11,700. I sold it for $30,000 to Ponca City, Oklahoma. If you look, you can see that I bought a scenography machine. You can look if you look up, scenography machine. I made $3,000 on that. It was a local thing.
And so when you bought that fire truck online, did you know value just by shopping other fire trucks? I mean, how did you come across that thing?
It just appeared. I bid on that, and I bid on a Hummer too at the same time. And I got this. I didn't get the Hummer, but what I did is before I bought it, I called the fire station. It was in Texas. I called the fire station. I talked to the mechanic. He said, "Oh, that's a great." They know. He goes, "That's a great truck." He said, "We just had it." They have a thing like on airplanes. They do an annual every year. Well, they have a similar thing that's required. This is a ladder truck. This thing was scary, man. I'll tell you what. You take that ladder and you can put it up 110 feet. Okay.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I ran it all the way up I didn't climb it. No way did I climb it. But just having that damn ladder, because it has outriggers that come out and set down, and then this thing goes way up, and you can turn it all the way around. And
if you need to do some tree trimming, there you go.
Yeah, no, this is not for that. I'm telling you.
I know.
Yeah, but anyways, it was funny too because I was having a fight with a neighbor at the time. I mean, we ended up going to court, and it was over an easement, and. He called the city on me, and it's like, anyways, I got a fiasco with the city too, but I go out there and the next day I fired it up, laying on the horn. Talk about a horn, man! That had a horn like you couldn't believe. And I just, and then I'd hop up and go to work, and then come back and do it again in the evening. I didn't like them, but let's see, good roof. Let's see. For roof. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this thing, I mean, it was good to get out of a fire. I mean, nobody wants to climb down a 100-foot long ladder, okay? 100-foot long extension ladder. And this thing was cool. You know what I still have that I did keep off it? I have a 10-foot ladder that it folds flat. It's just like, it's very narrow. You pull it apart, and then you got a ladder about, 12 inches wide and, 10 feet. It's pretty cool. I still have a ladder somewhere. Okay.
Do you trust bigger pockets?
I don't. Let's look at a bigger pockets video too. I like this Brandon guy. He seems like a nice enough guy. I really don't know his history. He didn't start Bigger Pockets either. A lot of people think he did, but Bigger Pockets was started by a guy that was looking for information, and he couldn't find a place to get information. So he created a place where you can get information. Well, it doesn't mean it's good information. It just doesn't. It doesn't mean it's good information. But when I hear Brandon talk, he seems like a decent. He seems like an okay guy. Let's watch something. Let's watch a piece of what he's got. In fact, we'll go. Let's move over to this other page here. All right. He started flipping washers and dryers and grew appliance repair business. Yeah. I'm with you, Everett. I mean, as long as you can identify value, then you can buy it under market and flip it and make more. I mean, I love flipping things, and I've done a lot of things that I'm not don't know particularly well, but I can certainly dig in and look up what things are worth. All right, so look at this. This is buying your first rental. You guys okay? We'll watch this. I'll put it. It says 9 minutes and 59 seconds. We'll watch it in 5 minutes. So let's.
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to give you 8 simple steps to land your first real estate investment property. Stay tuned.
All right. Speed it up a little bit.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Brandon Turner, host of the Bigger Pockets podcast and author of the book on rental property investing and a bunch of other books. And today I want to lay out a very simple strategy for getting your first real estate deal, or maybe if you've done one before, your next real estate deal. So I had this conversation the other day with a new investor, somebody looking to get into real estate. And we talked about a lot of stuff over about almost an hour time. And at the end of the conversation, you know what they asked me? They said, Brandon, can you just simplify and just give me like step 1, step 2, step 3 to get my first deal done? And I was like, all right, I think people can appreciate that. Let's just get real simple here. So today I'm gonna lay out 8 steps that you can follow. And if you follow these steps, you will become successful in real estate. I guarantee it. You ready for this? All right, now if you like these steps, make sure you do me a favor and click that thumbs up button below the
Okay, so yeah, he doesn't talk that fast. I've got it going flying, high speed. But can everybody understand that fine?
Yeah.
And here's our subscribe button. Let's see. And we'll keep watching.
video. Let's get going. Number 1, educate yourself so you know exactly what you want to do. You know, a lot of times we think that the path is really complicated and difficult to get something done, but in reality, our lack of action, our lack of movement is simply because we have not decided. We've not decided what we want to do. And so the first step is to gain a basic general education so you can decide what it is you want to do. Now in real estate, you've got a lot of options. It's one of the reasons we love real estate investing. You want to buy giant skyscrapers? You can do that. You want to buy simple little houses? You can do that. You want to buy a mobile home? You can do that. In fact, I have a mobile home park business right now. We buy mobile home parks. Who does that? I do, because it's fun. And so you can choose what you want to do. But the key is you've got to decide. You've got to make that decision. If you don't have a very clear idea of what you want to do, you're just going to keep wandering around. It's like looking for a job. If you don't know any idea what kind of job you want, where do you even start? How do you start having the conversations you need to? So it's really, really, really important that you decide what you want to do, and the way you get that is through a general education. The best way to do that, I would recommend podcasts are excellent. If you can listen to an interview-style podcast, like the Bigger Pockets podcast with 75 million downloads, or any interview-style real estate podcast, listen to the stories of other people and look for stuff that just resonates with you, that makes you get fired up and says, yeah, that's what I want to do. Maybe you want to do the BRRRR strategy, which is one of my favorites, or you want a house hack, or you want to, I don't know, buy one rental house every year for 10 years. Whatever your strategy is. Step number 1 is to get a basic education so you can define exactly what you want. Step number 2, I want you to practice the math over and over and over for that type of real estate deal until you're an expert at it. I believe that knowing how to analyze a deal is the number one most important skill a real estate investor can have. I mean, the great thing about real estate is that unlike the stock market or any other investment in the world, starting a business, doesn't matter, whatever, you really don't know how it's going to turn out. But in real estate, you can get really accurate predictions on what the future looks like because we know what the general water bill of the property is. We know what the general cost of electricity is going to be on that property. We know what a property is going to rent for. Those are all questions that we can answer. So when you know how to analyze those deals, you can see what next year looks like in profit, the year after, 20 years down the road. Now, is it going to be perfect? Of course not. But you can get a pretty good estimate of what your future looks like. Therefore, when you know how to do the math really, really, really well, you can find great deals, avoid bad ones. When you have great deals, you can bring in partners, you can find more money, you can get easier financing, you can make earlier retirement happen. Those are all the benefits of knowing how to analyze a deal. So spend a lot of time doing that. And if you want to get a real life example of me analyzing a deal, I'm actually doing a live webinar this coming week over at biggerpockets.com/webinar where I'm going to analyze a real life deal.
Okay, yeah. So look, I mean, it's a lot of common sense stuff, but this is all promotion.
I would even say, you know, yeah, find something you're passionate about, but if you're in general passionate about real estate, don't pigeonhole yourself into just one niche thing, because like, you know, a year ago, I would have never pictured myself buying a vacant lot.
Right.
But because I know value, like you talk about in your book, I know it's a great deal and I shouldn't pass it up.
Right. And that's what I like. That's the first thing that came to my mind is that, you know, like, and it's not the same. He's not saying the same thing. I say just know value. This idea, watch me analyze a deal. Let me tell you what I don't like about when they say, let me show you how to analyze a deal. A lot of those guys, it's because listen, it's common sense. It's not hard to figure out what's a good deal. When somebody says analyze a deal and predict, that sounds like speculation, okay, in part, because you're trying to figure out what it's going to be in the future and this and that. And the idea that the analysis is simple. It's just math, right? It's just math. If it's worth 100, pay 60 so you can sell it for 10% under market and make 30. Okay, that's how simple it is. And if you have to really dig down in detail to find a few $100, it's not a good enough deal. So a lot of times when they talk about analyze, it's a way of justifying a shitty deal. It just is. It's a way of saying, oh yeah, look at this and this, and you're making a cap rate of 15%. Or when they talk about on cash. You're making this much on your cash. Again, you're making the money on the overall asset that you purchase. And I'm not saying he isn't saying that, but I'm just saying he's giving you a lot of reasons to go to bigger pockets where there's a smorgasbord of information, which are every Tom, Dick, and Harry that wants to advertise a book or a course. Or I saw a real estate investment trust type thing that was on there. Okay, those are, he's just bringing traffic to his channel. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's the best service. Listen, it's it's kind of like come shop. We've got everything. Come on down to the mall of real estate stuff. And so, again, it's fine. Shop around. That find out what turns you on, what you like. Look at my channel, look at other people's channel. I don't pretend to know anything that I don't, and I tend to just make it simple. If it isn't simple, then it's probably going to stink somewhere or another. That's what I think. But let's watch the rest of them.
Together with you from one of your markets. So biggerpockets.com/webinar. I'll hopefully see you there. Moving on, step number 3. Start looking for deals online. This kind of relates to step number 2, the deal analysis, but I want you to go to like Realtor.com or Zillow.com or Redfin.com and just get deals to practice. Start running the numbers. In fact, I would recommend do one deal a day. If you just set a goal of doing one deal every day.
Look, I don't know if you're necessarily going to find a deal on there because everybody can see it. And I hear people talking about, oh yeah, we teach how to, make deals on stuff that's already on market through realtors. Look, my leapfrogging is probably the best chapter on that. Is if you're going to get there first, jump in and throw an offer that's high if you think it's going to go higher. If you know what values are, you can do that. You can do that successfully. But, it's okay to use those Zillow and these others as a point of reference for what value is. So when you see something, more than likely off market, you'll know it's a great deal. But believe me, the money is buying stuff off market. Buying it on market, unless you can just get there first or talk to the agents and make sure that you have an inside track on seeing the listing before anybody else, before they put it on the MLS for everybody to see. When it's online, it's almost over. I can tell you, although the experience I showed you guys the other day, where they misrepresented the property by 10,000 square feet, that's different. That's different. But again, let's watch the rest of this.
It's kind of like working out. Like if you just worked out every single solitary day, you'd understand every machine in the gym pretty soon. You'd understand how it all works. You'd build up that momentum, and you'd start getting in shape. And so the important thing is the consistency. So start finding one deal every day that you can just find online. And don't even worry about buying it. In the beginning, just get good at running the numbers, which was step 2, and finding those deals online, which is step number 3. Again, it doesn't have to be good deals. You're just getting your
And that's not bad advice, really. Studying the market. And like you said, I like that he said, don't worry about buying it. I will say that's great advice because you shouldn't buy until you know what the hell you're doing. Yeah. And it's almost like running stocks. If you're trading stocks, trading a simulator. Trading a simulator. And if you keep winning and winning, then that'll be an indication that you know what you're doing.
And with that, I think also, if you're looking at Zillow, if you're looking at Redfin, and you come across something, because I used to do this all the time. Every night before I go to bed, I'd look at my area and I'd see what was new on the market every day. I'd be like, all right, what's new?
Sure.
And it would probably be once a week. I'd be like, ooh, that's a good deal. And
if it goes quick,
sure enough, the next day it's gone. It's like, okay.
Yep.
I know how to identify what's good.
That's right, and that's true. Or you'll see stuff bid up. So let's watch some more.
reps in right now. All right, step number 4, get a real estate agent and have that agent set you up with automatic emails for whatever criteria you've defined. You've already, remember in step 1, defined what it is you want. So if you're looking for duplexes or triplexes, great. Have your real estate agent set you up with automatic emails for the type of property you want. Not only are you looking online for deals, but now you've got actual pipeline. You've got a pipeline of deals coming into your inbox that you can start running the numbers on. Because here's the truth about real estate, guys. This is so important, fundamentally important. Every property out there has a number that could make it a good deal. Everything, this house, that house, that house, every house. Every property has a number that could make it a good deal. So your job as an investor is not to blindly walk around trying to find some mysterious great deal that nobody seems to have found. Your job is to go out there and just find leads, which is what we just talked about, get them and analyze them to find out how much you can pay for them. And then look, maybe your number is close to what they're asking, maybe not. But your job is not to go and land a deal. Your job is to work that process over and over and over. Which brings me to step number 5, go get pre-approved from a lender. Now, there are a lot of ways to buy real estate, especially if you want to get creative with it and use other people's money. I mean, I wrote an entire book called The Book on Investing in Real Estate with No and Low Money Down, and I built most of my portfolio using other people's money. That said, if you're just getting started, go get qualified or pre-approved for an investment loan. It's probably gonna be 20 or 30% down. If you don't have that money, then you're gonna need to get a little more creative. But either way, step 5 is go to a bank or a lender and go try to get pre-approved. Maybe you'll get it. Maybe you'll find out that they have some cool bank loan that'll let you do it for less money down, or maybe you'll have to do something more creative. But either way, you'll know because you went to that lender and had a conversation. So step 5 is go find a lender or a bank and have that conversation. Now, if you're on BiggerPockets, go up to the network tab and you hover over network and drop down. It'll actually have a spot for find a lender. And BiggerPockets actually works with a number of different lenders that understand real estate investment strategy. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. All right, step number 6. This relates back actually to a similar thing we talked about earlier, but I want you to do it again. Is start analyzing one deal every day. You understand this is not a very complicated process. We're just getting leads and we're analyzing them. But now that you're pre-approved, or at least have an idea of how you're going to finance that deal, now I want you every single day to analyze one property. No matter how you get the lead, every single day analyze one property. Which moves on to step number 7, make an offer once a week. Once a week, make an offer. Because you've analyzed 7 deals that week. So find the one that's closest to whatever it is they're asking and make an offer. Because you know how much money it costs to make an offer? Nothing.
Yeah, it's still a waste of time. Listen, I would not make an offer once a week. You need to know value. If you know value and you see when, just hammer that. But you go just make a bad offer every week. I mean, a lot of people like that shotgun approach, and I can tell you, it just wastes people's time, and they won't take you seriously. And you will ruin your relationship with a lot of realtors if you just make a bad offer every week.
No,
yeah.
That's a really good point.
Well, I mean, he's saying make it just as a routine to do one a week. I don't believe in it. I think it's a waste of time. But I do think study the numbers and look at what comes available always. And if you see something that is a good, because listen, you're going to know what a good deal is, right? It's okay to call on it. And if they say, yeah, they're pretty soft and desperate, then you go in there, then go for the, the throat and make a bad offer and take it away. But in general, to just make an offer a week, no, that's a waste of time. Not just your time, but somebody else's time. And then they won't like you for it. Yep. Here you go. Thank you, Tom G.
It's free to make an offer, so why not ask? A lot of people are so afraid of making an offer. In fact, when I talk to new investors all the time, they tell me, I can't find any deals. The question I always ask them is, how many offers did you make this week? You know what the answer always is? None. Well, of course you're not getting any deals. You're not making any offers. It's like the guy who's like, sitting at home at 50 years old without a girlfriend or a wife saying, I can't find anybody. I'm like, well, have you ever asked anybody out? Well, no. Well, there's your problem. Like, you're not going to get the results you want if you don't go out and pursue those things. That's why step number 7 was start making one offer every single week. And step number 8, repeat steps 6 and 7. Analyze offer until you land a deal. I said earlier that this is a guaranteed process. That's what I mean by it. If you just repeat steps 6 and 7 over and over and over, analyze, make an offer, and you're gonna get better. You're gonna find out.
Yeah. Listen, anybody can buy a piece of property. Anybody can buy a piece of property, but it's getting it at a deal. So, I mean, I think there's a little bit of too much hype here for just trying for the hell of it, just make an offer every week. Again, you won't be treated seriously. You won't be taken as a player if you do that. But if you make a serious offer once in a while, you do the numbers, and believe me, you're not going to find a deal every week. It happens once in a while. It happens. And I mean, look, I've made some tremendous deals, made hundreds of thousands or more than $1 million just right away, made such a great deal. But that's, that didn't happen for years. It could have happened the first day, but it could have. But the bottom line is, the main thing is to get out there and try. So I don't have any big issues with what he said other than what I said. Just, I wouldn't do it every day or every week. It's just as a rule. But yeah, like I say, the bigger, he walks, here's the deal. When Brandon's talking about doing these things, it can all be very general and just kind of common sense, like, right, yeah, obviously got to get off your couch and, you can't wait for a girl to come knock on your door, like the example he made. You got to do something. You got to make it happen for yourself. Can't win the lottery unless you buy the ticket. I say that a lot. You have to do something. You have to do something. And just working smart, of course, is the smartest thing you can do. But he's in a very safe area, because what he's doing is he's saying, come to the channel, because that's where they make. Come to our mall, and then go buy something from one of these guys that's trying to sell stuff on our channel, right? Or pay whatever they get, a couple $100 a year to be amongst other people that are hoping to make money.
And again, I just want to point out, though, I think for those of us that are new to real estate, like myself, don't be so narrow-minded of, hey, my uncle does multifamily, and I'm going to do multifamily, or I saw my mom and dad, they really did great in doing commercial real estate. Like, right now I've got a vacant lot that I'm working on. I've got a flip house I'm working on, and I've got a short-term rental that I'm working on. So those are 3 very different properties, but they're all going to make money.
Yeah, they're all the same. They're all land. Just some of them have buildings on it, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, and like I said, you know, you can the owner carry, the seller finance, and you guys that are young and don't have any credit and don't have any money, listen, you can go look at properties that you can't afford. And the key is getting, you know, get between what somebody has and what somebody wants. And that's what you can really clean up on is you can go look at a property that's a great deal, make an offer on it, get it tied up, and then come to somebody like me or somebody in town that you know has some money and say, hey, I got this great deal. Or go to a builder that, you know, somebody you already know that's built in that area. Or go to a realtor that's already sold property in that area and say, hey, I got this thing I'm buying, and, you know, I want somebody to take me out of it. And they'll listen. They'll know somebody. They'll say, hey, this kid's got a great deal, and you know, give him $10,000 and you can take it over. And believe me, you find a deal that there's $50,000 margin in there. Somebody will give you $10,000 to take you out, and then they'll make 40. I mean, that's more than 40, 130. I mean, you know, I'm like, wow. I didn't tell him, but I might be interested in that. But I helped him analyze his deal. There was a floodplain issue, and there's some other things, and you know, that's what I think, anyways. Hey, David, glad you're here. Do you talk about how to find someone with money? Do you talk about how to find someone with money after I've found a deal in your book? You know, I don't know that I do. I don't think I necessarily talk about how to find money. Talk about it all the time as far as here, but I think I did. Yeah, it's in there somewhere. You know, I talk about it so much. Sometimes I think about the stuff that I talk about a lot. It's already in the book, and sometimes I realize it's not. But listen, finding money, I always say worry deals, not money. You don't have to worry about money. Worry deals. You get a deal, somebody else will come up with the money. Somebody has money. You get between what somebody has and what somebody wants. I mean, just think about it. It's simple. If you find something for $100,000 that's worth $150, it's not hard to find somebody that wants to take your position in that deal, and they'll give you $10,000. So Dave, do you have the book? I thought you bought the book. You've been in here a long time. You should have the book by now. I thought you already ordered the book. David. Anyways, but, you still waiting on the damn book. Well, you can read the first couple chapters. I don't know. Maybe get it on Kindle. Well, you know, it's funny. So many people, they order it on Kindle so they can read it, so they start reading it right now, and then they order the book and they get the book, which I like that, of course. But yeah, so look, folks, you're just watching. I've got a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate, and I've been buying property for 39 years. Bought my first one at 19, millionaire by 28. Land, commercial buildings, just about everything you can imagine I bought. And it's not that hard, and it's just a shortcut for you to learn from somebody like me. Anyways, $10. If you're going to get ripped off by somebody, get ripped off by me for $10, $20 in paperback. One thing for sure, you'll after you read that, you'll never be taken advantage of. You'll never pay too much for a property. That alone, I think, is worth the price of the book. But anyways, I'm getting tired. Me
too.
Yep. So I think it's time to go. Anyways, I appreciate everybody popping in, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Just hang out, subscribe. You'll see other stuff. I have about 130,000 square foot of rentals. I share how I manage those and take care of those and maintain those. I show you how I make deals and profits, and all kinds of properties that I've bought and sold. I've done it on the channel now for a few years. And that's it. So I've got a mentorship too. If you want to check that out, go to FlipAnythingUSA.com. And hey, thanks again, everybody, for popping in. A lot of students in here. And I'll see you Saturday, Sing. Looking forward to it, man. Keith, try to come in if you can. And I want to talk to you about that the proprietor's deal. Maybe you can make a deal down there. Maybe buy the building and the shop. So
all right, guys. Have a good one.
Yep. You guys, everyone, take care. Good night.